the Instagram stories for Monday, June 5th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. We are doing a deep dive into how the Instagram algorithm works section by section. So far, we've covered stories and feed, and now we're going to get into Reels. Have you wondered how the algorithm works for Reels? Don't worry, we're going to get into it. Just by way of reminder, this information is presented from the vantage point of the user. What determines what Instagram shows you as a user? If you are looking for information for how to get your post seen by as many eyeballs as possible, unfortunately, this is not that explanation. With that context, here's the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, describing how the Reels algorithm determines what Reels to show you.
Next, let's go to Reels. Now, the goal of Reels is to entertain you, and most of what you'll see in your Reels tab are videos from accounts that you do not yet follow. And so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make a series of predictions about each Reel to assess how interesting it might be to you. But I want to first start with this idea of what do we even look at to rank in the first place? Because there are a lot of Reels posted on Instagram every day, and we have to decide which ones you might be interested in. But basically, we take a look at what you interact with, other people who interact with the same content, and what else they seem to be interested in. But then we go back into a very similar pattern that you've heard about in feed and stories. We make a series of predictions for each Reel. So how likely you are to watch the Reel till it's over, how likely you are to send the Reel to a friend, and how likely you are to go to the audio page for that Reel, which is a way of assessing if you might be interested in creating a Reel yourself. And the signals we use are what you tend to be interested in on Instagram, what Reels you've watched in the past, and information about the Reel, about the author of the Reel, and how much you've interacted with that author if you have, in fact, interacted with that author in the past. All of this to create a tab, an experience that's immersive, hopefully delightful, and hopefully entertains you with some amazing videos on Instagram.
Okay, we are going to take a quick break to allow some time for our sponsor, but when we come back, we're going to talk about how Instagram determines what to show you on the Explore page.
This episode is brought to you by Michigan Economic Development Corporation. In Michigan, you can have both a rewarding career and a quality lifestyle, with plentiful career opportunities in world-changing, innovating industries, from electric vehicles to clean energy to biotech, with room for advancement no matter where you are in your career. Plus, Michigan offers a welcoming, beautiful, affordable, and inclusive community for all. Live your best life. You can in Michigan. Visit themichiganlife.org.
And we're back. Just as a reminder, we are doing a deep dive into the Instagram algorithm, and now we are up to the Explore page and how content gets ranked on the Explore page.
Next, let's go to Explore. Explore, like Reels, is a recommendation surface. It's primarily content from accounts you do not yet follow, but it's photos and videos, and the goal of Explore is just to help you discover new things that you might be interested in. And so we predict how likely you are to like a post, how likely you are to save that post, how likely you are to share that post. And the information or the signals we use to make those predictions are very similar to the ones that we use for Reels in a slightly different order. Actually, the number one signal or group of signals is information about that post. How popular is that post right now? The second most important is your history of interaction. So what do you tend to be interested in on Instagram more broadly? For me, I'm into cooking, I'm into men's fashion, I'm into architecture, interiors, and so my Explore tends to reflect that. And the third and the fourth groups of signals are information about the author and your history of interacting with that author, which you may have never done, but if you have done, it's a pretty good signal that you might be interested in what they have to say.
Okay, that's going to do it for today's episode. Hopefully you like this content and you find it valuable. I'm going to try to make a video version of this content right now, but shorter so that you want to watch it multiple times. I still need to figure that out. Thank you so much for listening, and be sure to come back tomorrow for more Instagram or other tech or other social media news that I think you need to know about.
Instagram news got you covered, sometimes even TikTok. Relevant platforms in the metaverse ahead of the wave, without a break or a pit stop. Still waiting for Zuckerberg to give me the big job. Pause. Use trademarks and logos with Insta's permission, of course. If you like the show and you gain some good info, maybe leave a review. It's the type of applause. Just drop me a message if you want to collab. If you got some good content or you want to run ads, at Daniel Hill Media is where I am. TikTok, Facebook and Instagram.